Hello my viewers, welcome back to the channel. By the video title, you know what this video is about. The Steelers have released a lot of people that we've been not advocating release. You don't want to see nobody lose their job, of course, but like advocating for a change. Of course, those guys will find different spot, different homes somewhere else. Chuks and Harvin especially, they probably find different spots somewhere else, maybe a different coaching staff, maybe will help them out a lot. But the Steelers released Mitch Trubisky, they released Chuks Okafor, they also released Presley Harvin, and it cleared up a lot of cap space. They said cleared up $15 million, I believe, in cap as well. And I think we already had like 15, 16 mil-ish, so I guess they make us at 30 if I'm not mistaken. So we cleared some cap space up so we can go out there and get some pieces to help the team to prevail to the next level. Our team has kind of been stagnant, been around that 9 and 8, 10 and 7-ish type of range for the past 3 years. A team that's kind of been like, okay, you're not bad, you're not great, you you're like pretty good, like in the middle, yeah, you're pretty good, you had your moments here and there, but you're still not good enough to win a Super Bowl. So going out there and making these moves, releasing Mitchell Trubisky, releasing Chuks Okafor, and releasing Presley Harvin was actually some good moves to make. As you know, Chuks, he had his moments early on with us as a player years ago, but it just could never live up to that potential and never live up and be consistent enough for a long run, a long tenure with the team. So the Steelers decided to release him and move on to create more space. And plus, Broderick Jones took his spot. Broderick Jones is really a left tackle, but he can play on the right side too. He's very versatile, so he can play all around the line. So he played on the right side, filling in for Chuks, and you see how the run scheme and the run game kind of improved a lot. Our rushing stats kind of increased a lot. We had a 200-plus rushing yard game, multiple of those this season, and we were just playing at a different level. And it was due to Broderick Jones, the switch with him as well, who we traded up in the draft to get, and also it was due to just having better personnel out there. And Dan Moore was on the other side. Dan Moore have his moments too as well, but I think the Steelers will probably look for in the draft, which is probably a center. Quarterback maybe too, it depends. But quarterback, center, and tackle. I have a video coming out next that I filmed on Sunday. Started pre-taped, so that one will be coming out a few hours after this. We're doing double upload today. That one is about, of course, the centers. The centers in the draft, players who the Steelers should probably go after. Should the Steelers take a center first? And in my opinion, I think they should take a center first. So we'll see how the offensive line improved from last year. And you add a center in that mix, a guy who is highly classified like Jackson Power Johnson or a Cedric Van Pran, one of those guys who are very talented individuals and very agile for their size. Add that to the line, you can increase the line up a lot. But Mr. Trubisky, as you guys know, when he first got drafted to the team, not drafted to the team, signed to the team in free agency, which was within the first hour, the Steelers signed him. I was not a big fan of that. As you guys see on the video, I was like, I guess Mr. Trubisky is all right. Since he's a Steeler, I'm going to give him a chance. Maybe he might shine and go out there and play, so I'm going to give him a chance. But Mr. Trubisky, I was never a big fan of his. I thought that the Bears made a mistake in drafting him. I even said it. I believe I was in 2017, so I was in high school still. So the Bears drafted him, and I remember everybody at school was talking about like, why the Bears? I had a friend who was a Bears fan. He was like, why did they take Mr. Trubisky? Why didn't they get Watson? Now no one knew Mahomes. We knew Mahomes was going to be good. The gunslinger, we didn't think Mahomes was going to be this good he is right now. Of course, he had the talent, the arm talent, but we knew Deshaun Watson was going to be good because he just won the national championship with Clemson. Remember, he had that big-time play against Alabama where he ran and he threw the game-winning touchdown on a little out route for the game winner against Alabama. So we've seen him be good and be great. So I was surprised he didn't take Deshaun Watson first because of his play style. They took him. They might have had themselves maybe a Super Bowl because at one point, remember the Bears, when their team was fully stacked and they really only was missing the quarterback, they went out there and messed it up because that defense was good. They had Eddie Jackson, they had Khalil Mack, and they had all those different guys on the team, playing on that defense. And then you look at the offense, it has some potential here and there, but the quarterback position was holding them back. And then you see now when they took Mr. Trubisky to set them back a little bit, and they tried to make it seem like he was the guy, and he wasn't the guy, and they started dropping and dropping. Because they got to the playoffs with Nick Foles at one time. Remember when Nick Foles was on the team? Mr. Trubisky was on the team. He got into the playoffs, and they was playing against Nick Foles. Nick Foles was on the Eagles, and he defeated them in a double doink. Now, if you had Deshaun Watson there in that situation, the way he plays, you probably wouldn't have to worry about a double doink. You probably would have been up by 2 touchdowns by then. But it just they could change it. They probably go back and take Mahomes. They'll take a Watson. They take somebody. They could change it because the reason the Chiefs traded up all the way all those spots to get Mahomes because they saw potential in him. I don't know why the Bears did that, but so they did. But the Steelers took a chance on Mr. Trubisky after he had a tenure with the with the Bills for one season, being a backup, learning behind Josh Allen, learning behind Brian Daboll as well in that system and that scheme. And we thought that maybe he could probably go out here and be a versatile piece for the team. I know the Steelers wanted a dual threat QB, a guy who can go out there and run the football, who can throw the football down the field and make plays and keep plays alive. That playmaker type style we loved when Big Ben was here, backyard Ben, just go out there and make anything out of nothing. But I think Mitch Trubisky just couldn't live up to the potential. His confidence was always shot. And they didn't do him any favor, really, having Kenny Pickett being plagued down and breathing on his neck entire time after every mistake. They kind of like set themselves up for that, saying that Kenny Pickett will be the backup quarterback. I thought the Steelers really just kind of had kind of messed up a lot. They kind of took too many chances on too many of those guys. They really should have just probably just played it safe in a sense of just waiting it out. They took Mr. Trubisky right off the back, and Mr. Trubisky play style with us, inaccurate throws off the back foot, scared to step up in the pocket and avoid he leave the pocket a lot like that. Sometimes it's unnecessary to leave the pocket. He lead himself to sacks and stuff. I feel like there's a lot of quarterbacks in that free agency though that the Steelers could have probably took that would have been better than Mr. Trubisky. I'm not saying they would probably made us a Super Bowl team, but they could have made us a team that'd be like, okay, a playoff team at least. Like, look at guys like Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston was coming off of a season where he threw 13 touchdowns, just 4 interceptions. He had the Saints at 5-2 record with a less roster. And the reason he didn't finish that year because he tore his ACL in one of those games, but he had him at 5-2 record. He had him throwing 13 touchdowns to just 4 interceptions. So they're kind of keeping him like where he was still making his plays, but it was kind of keeping him conservative, telling him to take the check down. Don't try to force the passes. Don't try to go down the field and force anything in double coverage. Take the check down. And they kind of scoped his game a little bit. So I feel like he would have been a nice piece for us. Try Taylor, a former guy who played with the Bills. He led them to the playoffs before, and he's a Pro Bowler before as well. And Tyler Taylor is a good player. It's just he always gets injured. That's the only thing about him, the injuries. He found a way to get injured. I don't know how he does it, but he gets injured. But he would have been a better suggestion than Mitch. And then you look at Marcus Mariota. Maybe he might have been a better suggestion than Mitch. It's just there's a lot of different quarterbacks out there that they probably could have looked into and probably say, you know what, we can go out there and try to get that guy. Hey, you should have brought in Aaron Rodgers. I know Aaron Rodgers. I know people was talking about that at first. But Aaron Rodgers, maybe the guy came in, but he tore his Achilles, of course, that one season. But maybe you should have brought in Aaron Rodgers or something. I don't know. You should have did something different. Mr. Trubisky carousel kind of took some years off the team a little bit because TJ Watt and those guys are not getting younger. So TJ Watt is 29 years old. Cam Hayward's on the end of his career, about to retire eventually. I don't know if this is going to be his last year this season or he's going to play another year after, but he's getting close to retirement. And then Minkah Fitzpatrick, of course, I think he's 27 years old, but the injuries are getting to him a little bit, and then he's getting older and stuff. So we're trying to win now. We've got our defense, our star players on defense. We got all these pieces. We're trying to win we're trying to win a Super Bowl now, get that 7th Lombardi. So we're going to see what happens in the future. But they had to make the move to release Mr. Trubisky. I don't know why they extended his contract. In the offseason, last year in the offseason, they extended his contract and said he's going to be our bona fide backup quarterback when they knew he was not like that. And then Mason Rudolph showed us that he played very well. And Mason Rudolph, there's some reports that said Mason might probably seek a different team, of course, to test his opportunity somewhere else, some new scenery, a fresh start. So good for Mason. Mason had opportunity here, the last 3 games and shined. So if his stock is up and other teams are willing to offer him more money to go there and compete for a QB1 spot, go out there. Kudos to you. Harvin, though, got released. I like his story. I love Harvin's story. His story about overcoming the, adversity and overcoming all of these different things that transpire through his career. Losing family. He lost his grandpa and all different things that happened and leading to his story to becoming the Steelers punter. But he just was inconsistent. Sometimes he was very good. He was very good sometimes, but he was just inconsistent for too long. And the Steelers got to look and say, hey, some of those punts that we had in the playoffs, especially against the Bills this past game, some of those put us in some bad binds. And throughout the season, some of those punts he had, like those 25-yard punts, those 28-yard punts, like those botched punts, was what is happening out there? The mechanics is off, and it's just it just didn't work out really well. So maybe he goes to a different team, different scenery. Maybe it'd be better, but he just didn't work out with us fully. So hopefully he finds a different shine somewhere else, and hopefully Chuks does as well, and hopefully Mitch Trubisky does as well. But just not, it just didn't work out here, And that, it don't work out everywhere you go. You don't work. Some people work at the same job their whole life, or they might find somewhere else or a different spot. Some people play for the same team, their whole life. but it might have to move on to a different spot. And everybody can be like, okay, I played for this team my whole career, or this team my whole career. Sometimes you got to switch some scenery up to get your stock back up. So we're going to see what the Steelers do with these releases and clearing up space. I know the Steelers need to go out there and get a center. I say it's better in the draft probably because you have a young guy to build up the core around. Now, if there's a young center out there who's very good, I don't know who the free agents are fully, but if there's a young center out there who's very good, then you can probably get him in there to build around the scheme as well. But I feel like I prefer you to go out there and just draft the center and then a right tackle, to add to the team via the draft or via free agency, a cornerback as well. Quarterback is another concern. It's a big concern. A lot of people speculating the Steelers might pursue Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, or I don't even know, maybe trade up in the draft to take a Jaden Daniels. I wouldn't mind that. 6'5" quarterback with a strong arm who's very mobile and very agile. Could throw on the run as well. Big Ben-esque. He kind of reminds me of a tall Russell Wilson if you've seen Jaden Daniels. I have an analysis video on him as well coming out soon. But yeah, it's a lot of different quarterbacks, a lot of different cornerbacks, offensive centers, and offensive linemen, centers, tackles, and all type of things. The Steelers need to go out there and evaluate to see who they're going to add to the team to get this roster on a different level. Maybe add another receiver as well. I know Calvin Austin's on the team, but he was injury prone throughout the season, and he really wasn't as consistent as I thought he was going to be. I think he'll be more effective in the season, but maybe that might change with him being more healthier as the time go on, but we'll see. But I feel like the Steelers should add a receiver as well, but the team just got to find ways to just get back to that level of stardom. But that's all I got for the video today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you guys next time on the channel. Peace out.